What if the greatest revenge is silence? Not anger, not begging, not proving yourself to someone who discarded you like an afterthought. Just absence. The kind of absence that lingers in the back of their mind, making them wonder if they made a mistake. The kind that turns their arrogance into regret. Men are taught to chase, to plead, to show their worth. But the truth is, a man's true power isn't in proving his value. It's in walking away and never looking back. Because the second you remove yourself, the second you go silent, she will feel it, and it will hit her harder than anything you could ever say. Most men don't realize this. They fall into the trap of seeking closure, believing that if they just explain themselves or show how much they care, she'll come back. But the moment you do that, you lose. Because nothing is more powerful than a man who doesn't seek validation, a man who doesn't chase, a man who disappears and lets his absence speak for itself. She expects you to crack, to reach out, to prove that she still has control over your emotions. But what happens when you don't? What happens when she looks at her phone and sees nothing? When she scrolls through her feed and realizes you've vanished? That's when it starts. The slow, creeping realization that you were the prize all along. The moment she realizes you're not coming back is the moment she regrets ever letting you go. But by then, it's too late. Because the man she left is no longer the man she once knew. Like this video, subscribe and comment. My absence is my power. Now let's begin. Number 1. The breakup. When illusions shatter, she thought you would chase. She thought you would crumble, that you would flood her phone with desperate messages, asking why, asking for another chance. But you didn't, and that's when it starts to sink in. At first, she feels free. She tells herself she made the right choice. She goes out, posts pictures, enjoys the attention. She wants you to see it. She wants you to react. Because in her mind, you're supposed to be suffering. You're supposed to be watching her, waiting for her, hoping she'll change her mind. But then, silence. Nothing from you, no reaction, no desperate attempts to win her back, just avoidance where you used to be. That's when the illusion shatters. That's when she realizes something isn't right. Because she expected pain, but she never expected indifference. And the thing about indifference, it's terrifying. It forces her to ask questions she never considered. Did he really care? Was I wrong about him? Is he moving on? And that's the moment doubt starts creeping in. The moment she starts checking her phone, just in case you decided to reach out. But there's nothing. And the silence that once made her feel powerful now makes her feel invisible. She lost control. And the worst part? She gave it up willingly. This is where most men fail. This is where they break. They see her pull away and they chase, thinking it will bring her back. But chasing only confirms what she already believes, that you need her more than she needs you. And a man who needs a woman more than she needs him is a man she will never respect. This is why you never chase. This is why you never beg. This is why you let her walk away and never follow. Because in the end, the one who cares less always holds the power. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I am not a prisoner of emotions. Number 2, the turning point, the last message. Most men don't realize the power of the final message. They either send long paragraphs trying to explain or fix what's already broken, or they send angry texts hoping to make her feel guilty. But both approaches fail, because the second she sees emotion, she knows she still has control. And control means she doesn't have to miss you. But you do something different. You send one last message, not to get her back, not to convince her of anything, but to make a statement. A simple, composed message. No anger, no desperation, just finality. Something like, I respect your decision. Take care. That's it. No pleading, no questions, just an exit that leaves her with nothing to respond to. And that's when the shift begins, because instead of closing the door gently, you slam it shut. Instead of keeping the conversation open, you give her the weight of an ending. She reads it once, twice. Number 3, the void, when she starts to notice. At first, she enjoys the freedom. She goes about her days, convinced she made the right choice. She gets validation from others, fills her time with distractions, and tells herself you were just another phase. She expects you to reach out eventually because that's what most men do. But days pass, then weeks, and there's nothing. Just silence. At first, she ignores it. She convinces herself it doesn't matter. But then something shifts. She opens her phone almost instinctively, expecting a message that isn't there. She scrolls through social media, expecting to see you watching, liking, reacting, but there's nothing. It's as if you disappeared. And that's when the void begins to form. You see, people don't value what they have constant access to, but take it away, and suddenly its absence becomes impossible to ignore. Your silence, your absence, creates a vacuum in her life. And the mind hates a vacuum. It needs to fill it. So she starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Is he really over me? Was I not as important as I thought? At first, it's just a passing thought, but then it starts creeping in more often, late at night, during quiet moments, every time she picks up her phone expecting your name to appear. And it doesn't. The same silence that once made her feel powerful now makes her feel forgotten, and nothing haunts the mind more than the idea of being easily replaced. This is where most men fail. They break the silence too soon. They check in, they cave, they try to reopen a door that was already closing. But you do nothing. And by doing nothing, you force her to feel everything. The void grows, and the longer it stays, the more she starts to miss what she once took for granted. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I control my value. Number 4, the glow-up, becoming the man she lost. At first, she convinces herself she doesn't care. She tells herself you'll come back eventually, that you're just playing games. But then something unexpected happens. She stumbles across a picture of you. Maybe a mutual friend posted it. Maybe she searched for you out of curiosity. And what she sees shocks her. You look different, sharper, stronger. There's a fire in your eyes that wasn't there before. You've been working out, leveling up, moving in silence. You didn't just disappear, you evolved. And suddenly, she feels something she never expected to feel after leaving you. Regret. Because the man she left is no longer the man she remembers. The version of you she walked away from, that man was still attached. That man still hoped she would change her mind. But this version doesn't even think about her. And that is the most powerful transformation of all. See, most men spend months after a breakup sulking, drowning in sorrow, hoping their ex will return. But the ones who win, the ones who truly rise, use that pain as fuel. They take the hurt, the anger, the disappointment, and forge it into something unbreakable. They hit the gym harder. They focus on their money. They refine their mindset. They transform, not to impress her, but to elevate themselves beyond the man she ever knew. And nothing stings more than realizing the person you left behind became the best version of himself without you. She expected you to suffer. Instead, you flourished. She thought she was the prize. Instead, she realizes you were. And now, she doesn't have access to you anymore, because the ultimate power isn't in making her regret. It's in making yourself so valuable that her regret doesn't even matter. Like this video, subscribe, and comment. I invest in myself, not in her. Number 5, the echo. When she starts reaching out, it starts small, a like on an old post, a random follow request, a hey sent at 2 a.m. that she quickly deletes. She's testing the waters, trying to see if she still has a hold on you, but you already know the game. This isn't love. This isn't a genuine connection. This is curiosity mixed with regret. And you? You remain unshaken. She expected you to react, to get excited, to see her name pop up and feel something. But instead, you do what most men can't. You ignore it. You see the notification, and you let it sit there. No response, no reaction, just silence. And that silence, it eats away at her. Because now she knows the truth. She no longer has access to you. The same man who once gave her all his attention now treats her like a stranger. And that's terrifying. Because deep down, she believed she could always get you back if she wanted to. But now, she's not so sure. So she tries again. Another message. Maybe this time, she acts like nothing happened. Hey, how have you been? But you don't bite, because you understand something she never did. People don't value what's always available. They value what's rare, what's untouchable, what they can't have. By refusing to engage, by refusing to give her the reaction she's seeking, you make yourself something she can't have. And that's when it hits her. She lost you, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And the worst part, she did it to herself. Most men fail here. They take the bait, thinking she's finally realized what she lost. But the truth is, she's not coming back out of love. She's coming back to see if she still has power over you. And once she realizes she doesn't, that's when the regret turns into obsession. Like this video, subscribe, and comment. Indifference is my greatest weapon. Number 6. The regret. When she sees you've moved on. She told herself she didn't care. She convinced herself she was better off. But now she's watching from the shadows. And what she sees makes her stomach sink. Because you're not just doing fine, you're thriving. And worst of all, you've moved on. At first, she tries to downplay it. Maybe he's just pretending. Maybe he's just trying to make me jealous. But the more she looks, the more she realizes this isn't an act. You're genuinely happy. The weight she expected to see in your eyes, gone. The sadness she hoped you'd still carry, nowhere to be found. Instead, there's something else, confidence, purpose, a presence that wasn't there before, and then the real sting. She sees you with someone else. Maybe it's just a friend, maybe it's someone new. But the image burns in her mind because for the first time she feels replaced. She thought you would always be an option, a safety she could return to if things didn't work out. But now she realizes she was wrong. You weren't waiting, you weren't longing for her return. You were building a life, a purpose, a future. That's when the regret truly sets in. Because losing someone is one thing, but knowing that person is better off without you, that's unbearable. She starts replaying memories, wondering if she made a mistake. She starts thinking about what could have been, about the life she could have had if she had chosen differently. And that's when she realizes she is the one who lost. But by then, it's too late. You are no longer the man she left. You are no longer the man who wanted her back. You are something else entirely, something she can no longer reach. And nothing is more painful than wanting what you once had and knowing you can never have it again. Like this video, subscribe and comment. My purpose is greater than her regret. Number 7. The unreachable man. When she knows it's over. She thought she could get you back. She thought a simple message, a little attention, would be enough to pull you back into her orbit. But now she sees the truth. You're gone. Not just physically, not just on the surface, but in a way that truly matters. You've disconnected, detached, moved beyond her reach. At first, she resists the reality. She tries again, maybe with a longer message this time, something personal, something emotional. She wants to remind you of what you had, of the moments you shared, but your response: silence, indifference, a cold, distant acknowledgement at best. And that's when she feels it, the sinking weight of finality. See, most men leave the door open. Even when they claim to move on, they keep her on social media. They linger in the past. They wait for the moment she might return. But you did something different. You shut the door completely. You removed her access to you, not out of bitterness but out of discipline, because a man who truly moves forward never walks in circles. And that's what makes you different. You didn't just move on. You evolved past the point where she even matters. And that is the ultimate loss for her. Because now she knows that even if she begged, even if she admitted her mistake, it wouldn't make a difference. You're no longer the man who would take her back. You're no longer someone she has power over. And nothing haunts a person more than realizing they lost something they can never get back. She thought she could return whenever she wanted, but now she understands she lost the privilege of being in your life. And that realization, that's what truly breaks her. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I never chase, I own, only replace. Number 8, the Stoic mindset, mastering emotional control. This is where most men fail. They do everything right. Go silent, focus on themselves, build a new life. But then, when she finally reaches out, they let their emotions take over. They let nostalgia, ego, or loneliness pull them back into her gravity. And just like that, everything they worked for is gone. But you're different. You understand that true power isn't about getting her back. It's about no longer wanting her at all. Stoicism teaches that control over emotions is control over life. And the moment you master your emotions, you become untouchable. She can try to reach out. She can try to stir old feelings. She can even try to make you jealous. But none of it works, because you have trained yourself to be unmoved. You have trained yourself to see through the illusion that she was the best you could do, the illusion that your happiness depended on her, the illusion that she was ever in control. But now you see things clearly. You don't react. You don't seek revenge. You don't even acknowledge her presence, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. Because a man who truly understands his worth doesn't waste time proving it. He simply exists at a level so high that those who left him behind can only look up in regret. And this is the true essence of the Stoic mindset: emotional control, discipline, and purpose. You don't chase, you don't waver, you don't let the past dictate your future. You become a fortress, untouchable, unshaken, and that is what makes you powerful beyond measure. Like this video, subscribe and comment. My mind is my fortress. Number 9. The final reflection. The man who never returns. She thought time would change things, that one day you'd look back, remember the good moments, and maybe, just maybe, you'd want her again. But that day never comes, because the man she once knew no longer exists. You didn't just move on, you evolved. You shed the old version of yourself, the one who needed her validation, the one who placed his happiness in her hands. And now, standing at the peak of your transformation, you look back and feel nothing, no anger, no sadness, no longing, just gratitude. Gratitude that she left, gratitude that she forced you to grow, gratitude that you became something greater than she ever deserved. This is the moment when everything clicks, when you finally understand why life had to take her away, because if she had stayed, you wouldn't have become the man you are now. And that man, the one who walks with purpose, who is unshaken, who commands respect with his presence alone, that man never looks back. She realizes it now. She sees it in the way you carry yourself, in the way your energy has changed. And the truth that once seemed impossible for her to accept is now crystal clear. You're never coming back. And that's what hits the hardest. Because in the end, the greatest revenge isn't proving her wrong. It isn't making her jealous. It isn't even making her regret. The greatest revenge is simply becoming the man she will spend the rest of her life wishing she never lost. Like this video, subscribe and comment. The past is dead. I live for the future. This is where the journey ends. Not with a dramatic reunion, not with a desperate apology, but with silence, with distance, with a man who no longer looks back. Because the truth is, the strongest men aren't the ones who win women back. They're the ones who never need to. They're the ones who rise so high that the past becomes irrelevant. The ones who understand that real power isn't in proving your worth to someone who left. It's in becoming so valuable that their absence means nothing. And that's who you are now. A man who walks alone, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. A man who controls his emotions, builds his purpose, and stands so firmly in his own value that nothing, not heartbreak, not regret, not even time, can shake him. So, let her watch, let her wonder, let her regret. But you keep moving forward, you keep evolving, you keep becoming the man you were always meant to be. Because the past is gone, and the man who never returns is the man who truly wins. Like this video, subscribe and comment. I never look back. Thank you for watching. Keep rising, keep evolving, and never look back. I'll see you in the next one.